And as you're ready, you can release your hands and slowly open your eyes. We're going to rub our hands together and create friction and heat between our hands. And then we're going to place our hands over our eyes so the heels of our hands rest on our cheekbones, our fingers relaxed on our forehead. Breathing here as we release tension in our eyes. We hold 80% of the tension in our body in our eyes. So as you breathe deeply and consciously, just receive the calming effect when we put our hands over our face in this way. And we use the energy of our hands to draw out the tension in our eyes. 3 more deep breaths. Good, and then slowly release the hands. Find your collarbones right at the edge of them. Come down into the hollows right underneath. And we're going to tap here as we breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Practicing our wake up practice where we're waking up all the energy centers of the body, strengthening our immune system, regulating our nervous system. If any of the points we tap on are really sore, very uncomfortable, I want you to tap out in your energy field and you'll still receive the same effect. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Good. Now we're coming to the center of the chest, the center of the sternum bone, tapping here with 1 or 2 hands right on our thymus gland, sending messages to our immune system to be strong. Deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. 1 more time. Good. Come now to the sides of your low ribs, to your spleen meridian points. Tapping here with intention. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Supporting our body in digesting and assimilating our life experiences, emotions, thoughts, including our food. 1 more cycle of your breath. Good. Shake out your hands toward the ground. Now find your cheekbones directly under your pupils, and you're going to tap here on your cheekbones, again with intention. I know mine are sore this morning as my allergies are kind of acting up with all the things blown around in the wind. You might be experiencing that too. So this will help to just move any stuck energy, inflammation out. Continue to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. 1 more cycle of your breath. Good. Shake out your hands toward the earth. Relax the hands on your legs. Close your eyes and come into silence. Observing what you feel in your body. Now breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth again. And we're gonna tap the same hand to the same side thigh, kind of like if you were marching in place. Then we're going to stop, shake off our hands, and cross over the center of our body. So the energy of our body is crossing over, waking up both sides of our brain this morning, both sides of our body and energy body. In through the nose and out through the mouth. 1 more time. Good. Slow it down. Come to a pause. Now you're going to place your hands right in front of your pubic bone. And we're going to seal into our body and our energy field an affirmation. So I'm going to offer one, and maybe you have one that comes to your mind or one resonates. So maybe it's, I am safe. I am healthy. I have the power to heal anything in my body. I love you. So take an affirmation now. As you inhale up the center of your body, hands turn out at the mouth, and you'll exhale the arms out and down to your sides at your own pace. And you'll do this again 3 more times. Inhaling up the center of the body, turn the palms out, exhale the arms down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Good, 1 more time. Now we're going to zip it all up, placing 1 finger at your third eye, 1 finger in your navel. Press in and pull up on these 2 surfaces. 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Waking up your core this morning, which we're going to be focusing a lot on, and aligning all the energy centers of the body so that you're connected to your center. Good. Release the hands, place the hands on the heart. Take a moment to notice how you feel. All right. We're going to begin on our backs this morning, warming up in the hips and in the core. So what I'd like you to do is you can put a head and neck support down on one end of the mat. And then I'd like you to have one of your blocks available to you. You could also use another folded blanket or towel. And then you go ahead and just lie on your back. Daddy, I'm gonna need you to move, sweetie. Thank you. Okay, so go ahead and lie on your back with your knees bent, feet hip distance apart. And we're going to begin our warm up in moving bridge pose. So make sure your feet are tracking straight ahead. You have to look to each side of the mat and see if that's happening. And then as you inhale, your arms are going to reach up overhead and rest on or near the floor. You'll press down into your feet and your hips will rise up, bridge pose. Your exhale will lower your spine and hips and arms down to your sides. Follow your breath. Inhale deeply, arms overhead, hips rise up, back body tones. Exhale, release down. Really feel your feet grounding into the earth to lift your hips. Opening the thighs, the psoas muscles, the chest, so that you can breathe more freely and your back can also feel more release of tension. 2 more times with your breath. Back body tones when your hips rise up, so feel your back muscles fire up. Good. The next time your hips are lifted up, let's stay here in the bridge pose. Bring your arms down to your sides so the hands and the backs of your shoulders root down to lift the chest. We're going to pulse here. So you're going to inhale, squeeze your buttocks more intently, lift your hips. Exhale, release the hips a little bit, but not all the way to the earth. Inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, release. 2 more times, pulsing here. Good. On your next exhalation, slowly lower your hips back down to the mat. Walk your feet to the wide edges of your mat. Your arms can either go back overhead again. If that's not comfortable, arms will go out to your sides like wings. Heels rooted down, toes come off of the earth, and your feet flex. Inhale deeply. Exhale, release your knees to the right and roll into the edges of your feet, letting go in your hips and in your knees. Inhale the knees back up. Exhale them to the other side. Spend a breath on each side before you travel to the other side. Feeling release into your hips and knees. Being mindful if you have a pet that's under one of your knees or feet. This is a really nice way. If you have a really tight back when you wake up in the morning, get on the floor, do a few of these. Really good way to let go of that tension. Okay, so when your knees come to the right side, pause here. Option to place your right heel onto your left thigh to add more weight to the left leg. If your arms are overhead, take a hold of the left wrist. Gently stretch it behind you and deepen the opening into the rib cage and into your side body. 3 breaths here, deep breaths. Letting go of tension you're holding in your body. Release the top foot back to the mat first, then the wrist. Let the knees float up over to your other side. Your left heel can come to the right thigh. If that's not available, keep it on the mat. And then if your arms are overhead, take a hold of your right wrist. Stretch the side body, 3 breaths here. Good. Release the wrist, place the foot back on the mat, draw your knees up. Walk your feet in, hip distance apart. Place your right ankle on your left thigh. Your arms can come back down to your sides. So your right foot is flexed and your knee is moving away from your body, opening your right hip and hip flexor. Bring your right hand into your right thigh and help the tissue of your right thigh to move out in external rotation. Breathe here. Then release your hand. Bring awareness to your low ribs. And draw your low ribs down toward your hip bones. So your core has now fired up and is supporting you. We're going to inhale and bring our legs up. So the bottom foot comes off the mat. The legs are coming up toward the chest. On our exhale, our foot lowers down light as a feather. So this is a core exercise. Using the core to inhale the knees up toward the chest. Exhaling the left foot light as a feather down. We don't want to crunch the tops of our hips. So you don't need to bring the knees very far in toward the chest. It's just they're heading that direction. 3 more times with your breath. Inhaling the legs up. As you exhale, let your core control your descent. So it's just not gravity bringing your foot down. Good. Lower the left foot down, then the right foot comes down to the mat, light as a feather. And we'll head to the second side. Your left ankle comes onto your right thigh. Your foot is flexed. Think about if a wall was next to you and you're pressing your foot into the wall. Relax the left knee away from the body. Open the left hip, left hand on the thigh. Take your tissue of your left thigh, gently move it out in the external rotation, helping the hip to open a little bit more. Remember, you are staying present with your body and its limitations and edges. You want to go to your edge. It's a part of opening the body and challenging yourself, but you also don't need to go past, especially if you're dealing with an injury. So please stay present with your body. Okay, release the left hand, activate the core, draw your navel in and up toward your spine. Inhale, float the legs up. Exhale, light as a feather, the right foot comes to the mat. 4 more times with your breath. When you're complete, lower your feet one at a time to the mat. Good. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to focus on the muscles of our neck, strengthening our neck muscles. It's important. They get really weak in the front, and then we hold a lot of tension in the back a lot of the times. So we want to strengthen the throat, front neck. What we're going to do is we're going to pretend like we're going to lift our head off our mat, but we're not going to. We're going to do about 70%, so we feel the front of the neck tone, and then we're going to relax it again. So you'll inhale, your head will lift 70%. It doesn't leave the mat, but you feel your front throat fire. And then exhale and soften the throat. Do this 3 more times. Inhaling, toning the front throat. Exhale, totally let the head go. 2 more times. As you do this, imagine your forehead is going to reach toward your inner thighs if it indeed was going to come off the floor, which it will eventually. Good. 1 more time. Inhale, tone, forehead towards the inner thighs. Exhale, totally relax the front neck. Okay, good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to float our right knee above our right hip on our inhale. And our exhale, we're going to, light as a feather, place the foot down. Left side. Inhale, the left knee up. Exhale, float the foot down. This is all coming from your core, moving your leg. So navel to spine, not so much that you can't breathe. So you have to find your middle way of tone and breath. One more time on each side. Good, and then relax down. Okay, so now we're going to float the right knee above the hip and then the left knee above the left hip. So we're in reverse tabletop. The shins of your legs are parallel to the floor and your feet are flexed. Arms are down at your sides. Your low ribs are moving down toward your hip bones, contracting the core, and your lumbar spine, the curve of your low back, stays in a curve. We're not going to flatten the low back for these movements. As you inhale, you're going to dip your right heel towards the mat without touching the mat. exhale your knee back up to center. Left side, inhale, dip your left heel toward the mat without touching the mat. Exhale to center. Use your core to make the movements. 5 times on each side. And when you're complete, pause up top here. You can always take a break with knees coming into the chest to release the low back at any time. You can also do less counts than what I'm guiding you to do. Okay, so now we're going to focus on stabilizing our left leg exactly where it is right now. Our right leg is going to open out towards the floor, keeping the knee bent. As we exhale, the knee will come back to center. Now we're going to stabilize our right leg. Think about a wall right on your right foot. You're pressing your foot into the wall as your left hip and knee move out towards the floor. This is called opening the book, so think about doing that action. 5 times on each side, always using the stabilizing leg to keep your hips stable, your sacrum stable. Remember to breathe. And while you're doing these movements, keep your neck relaxed. Notice if you take that tension up in your upper chest and neck. See if you can move the tone back into your belly. When you've done your 5 on each side, let's hug our knees into our chest. Option to bring the head off the mat and to hug yourself in a full ball, or keep your head resting on the mat with knees to chest. Now we're going to circle on our sacrum. So just taking our knees in one direction. Remember the sacrum bone. It's right behind your pelvis. It's on the back side of your pelvis, I should say. And you're rocking around on it right now. So it's south of your low spine. Good. Come to a pause. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to draw our right knee in toward our chest. Our left leg is going to straighten and we're going to point our toes. Remember, low ribs down toward the hip bones. Then we're going to switch. Left knee hugs into the chest with our hands, right leg extends. The leg is extending not lower than 45-degree angle from the floor to your ceiling. Okay, now we can just follow our breath now that we know where we're going. Just breathe naturally as you switch legs. Knee to chest. The straight leg is extending out of your core to your toes. One more time on each side. Good. Let both knees bend, draw them into the chest. Now we're going to straighten both legs. So your straight leg might mean that you need your knees bent, and that's okay. But you straighten them as best as you can. Legs are straight up above the hips. Core is engaged. Arms are at your side. We're going to separate the legs apart like scissors. And what we're going to do is we're going to place our hands now up on our shin, and then we're going to switch legs, hands on the shin. So you're just switching the legs, reaching onto the shin. This is the form. Now, if you would like to add a more challenging element, you can lift your head. So remember, forehead lifts toward the inner knee, chin is relaxed toward the chest, and now you're bringing your forehead in toward the knee as you grab a hold of the shin. Inhaling in between each hold of the calf. So you inhale, release, and grab on again. Good. Lower the head if it's lifted. Relax the knees into the chest. Let's circle again on our sacrum in one direction. And then the other direction. And then pause. Okay, bring the arms down to your sides to begin. And our legs are going to go straight up toward the sky again. Knees can be bent. And if you're looking at your ceiling, you're going to imagine that you're going to walk out 8 counts toward the 45-degree angle from the floor to your ceiling. And then you'll exhale 8 counts back right here. So it'll look like this. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Back up top again. My core is controlling the movements forward and then back home. So it's not just the legs doing that motion. 4 more times at your own pace. You can bring that 8 count into your mind. When you're complete, draw your knees into your chest. Place your hands on your kneecaps. Separate your knees apart now. And let's circle the knees out together, back and toward the chest, and they separate out again. Move with your breath, 3 cycles of your breath, and you can always switch directions as well. Good, then place 1 foot at a time on your mat. Grab your block or your blanket or bolster. Lift your hips up. Take your block horizontally or whatever prop you're using. Place it behind your sacrum. So the edge of your prop meets the place in your buttocks where it splits into 2 halves. The upper part of your prop is not hindering your low spine. It's not running into it. What we're going to do here is we're going to straighten out our right leg, flex our foot, and bring our thighs parallel to each other. So your left foot is on the mat, knee is bent, right leg is straight, and if you looked at your thighs, they're right next to each other right now. So your leg is at that 45-degree angle, and you're moving your core, moving your tongue from your core, out your leg, out your heel. This is home base right here. Hands pressing into the earth. As you inhale, your right leg is going to float up above your right hip. You can let your knee bend as much as you need to. Exhale, lower your leg, thighs parallel again to each other. Inhale the leg up using your core. Exhale, lower the leg parallel. 4 more times with your breath. Stay present with your body. Relax your neck. Notice how much your neck wants to tighten. See if you can relax and send the tone back into the core. One more time. Now lower your leg all the way down so the heel rests on the mat. Press your heel firmly down and feel a stretch back into your top right hip, into your psoas muscles, the deeper layer of muscles that connect your legs to your spine, the only muscles that do. They can hold so much tension from our daily life activities, but also they hold our fear and anxiety that we hold in our body. So go into that tissue, talk to it and say, hey, you feel a little bound up. It's okay, but I'll give you permission to release whatever you're holding on to. Two more breaths. Keep letting go. When you feel ready, bend your right knee, place your foot on your mat. The second side, left leg now will straighten out. Thighs are parallel to each other. Core tone. So bring your navel in and up. Let it support your organs. Then send your tone out your heel. Inhale your leg up above your left hip. Exhale, lower the thighs parallel to each other. 4 more times or less if you feel complete sooner. When you are complete, lower your heel all the way to your mat. Press firmly down and send this opening stretch up the front of your leg to your left front hip. Go into the tissue. Let it release whatever it's holding on to. Breathe deeply to help facilitate that release. And bend your knee and place your foot on the mat. Lift your hips up, remove your prop, set it down. Let your hips release down. And now roll to your side into fetal pose for a breath or two. And then slowly bring yourself back up. Good work. Okay, how are we doing in the room? Good. How we doing on Zoom? Thumbs up. Everybody with me? Everyone's felt their core this morning? Okay, great. Let's come on to our hands and knees now. Okay, if you need extra padding under your knees, you know that about you. So you get up your blanket or towel and then set up in all fours. Hands are spread wide, so really let them blossom open. Think of a wide peony that are blooming right now so beautifully. Press your hands into the earth. Knees are under your hips, toes are tucked under, or toenails pressing into the floor. Tone your low belly and inhale, press your mat away and round your spine into cat pose. Exhale, release your spine from crown to tail. Shoulders draw down the back. Inhaling to round your spine, navel to spine, chin toward the chest. Exhale to release the spine from crown to tail. Follow your own breath as we balance the nervous system through these movements. Good, now pause in a neutral spine. Separate your knees apart and come on to your toenails. Big toes come together. Round your spine again in the cat pose. Really feel the stretch into the center of the spine. And then let your hips move back and down toward your heels, child's pose. So your head is going to rest on your block or your stacked hands, or it rests easily on the mat, wherever your head feels most supported and your neck feels supported. Take 3 breaths here, really releasing in your low back and in your hips. Then come up halfway, walk your hands to the left diagonal and reach your right hip back and down toward your right heel. It's okay if your hips need to be higher up over your knees. Just let your spine get really long. Your head isn't going to rest likely, so just let it be between your arms. Good. Walk the hands to the right diagonal. Reach your left hip back and down. 3 breaths here. Breathing space into your intercostal muscles between each rib. Walk your hands back to center and then slowly come on up. So with our hands out in front, hands spread wide, we're going to tone the belly, move our shoulders over our wrists, and let our hips come forward. This is our inhale. Our exhale will move our hips back and down to child's pose. Our head will rest. And we'll flow here, inhaling, hips forward, heart forward between the arms. Exhale your hips back and down, child's pose. 2 more times with your breath. Coming into child's pose again when you're ready. Letting your head rest. 3 deep belly breaths. On your next inhale, slowly come on up. Place your knees under your hips. If you have blocks, bring them underneath your hands. And if you don't, your hands are on the mat. We're going to step our right foot forward into a kneeling lunge. So your back toes, again, they can be tucked under, firmly supporting you, or toenails pressing down. If you're using blocks, they're directly under your shoulders. Think of them as extensions of your arms. Your back knee is directly under your hip, unless you know that your back thigh feels more open or your hips are a little more open, so you can move the knee back behind. Let's sink our hips towards the earth as we lift our spine and our shoulders move down our back. Your hands can stay on your blocks. They could come to your hips. and they could come overhead into upward hands, letting the arm bones float back. Whatever is going to allow you to feel supported in your feet, in your hips, and open in your chest, so the lungs are being supported in their opening. We all need to be breathing deeply and freely into our lungs, supporting their oxygen flow, supporting their health and capacity. Good. On your exhale, release the hands to your blocks. Pick your back knee up and step forward. Second side, the right foot will step back this time. So we're going to step back in our own lane behind our knee pad if we're using one. And then we'll lower the knee down. Beautiful. Blocks under the shoulders. Root down through the front heel. Feel that support in the front leg. And then let your back thigh and hip release. So you're getting into the psoas muscle, again, that deeper tissue. Then lift the spine, lift the heart. Maybe your hands would like to come to your hips. Maybe they'd like to reach up toward the heavens and relax back. Hugging the inner thighs toward your midline. Feel the support of your core, lifting your chest, and the arms are just extensions of your wings. Find your middle way in your form of effort to softening. Remembering our muscles, they want to be strong, but they also want to be long, and then they want to be relaxed. So when you're ready, hands come to the blocks. Draw the back knee up, step forward. Here we're going to come into a bent knee Uttanasana, standing forward bend, and we're going to let our head and spine and arms release toward the earth. So let your hands come to the earth with your knees very much bent. If that isn't available, bring your blocks under your hands. This is all about your hips, your spine, your head, releasing congestion. So you can shake your head gently, no, and yes, letting go. Good. Take your blocks under your hands again and step your right foot back into a lunge, and then lower the knee down for kneeling lunge, or keep your back leg up for straight leg lunge. So this, you have options here. Your right hand is going to come either onto your flat low level block or the mat. So your right hand is supported. Your left hand is going to come to your left hip. We're twisting our belly and our chest around to the left, and perhaps our top arm is going to reach up toward the sky. Inner thighs hugged in toward each other, helping to revolve the spine around the hips. Breathe in and breathe out. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Again, one more time. Inhale. Exhale. Good job. Bring your hands back down. Step forward. Take your time. Use your blocks. Second side. Left leg steps back. Front knee is bent over the ankle. Straight leg lunge or lower the back knee. Feel into your feet. Feel the support of the tone from your legs, up your core, up your spine, lifting the heart. We're coming into the twist now. So the left hand comes to a block or your mat. Turning the belly to the right. The upper chest turns. So that might take a few breaths to really get the revolve of the spine. Only if your top shoulder is clear will you stretch it up toward the sky. Deep, full belly breaths that move into your back. On your exhale, lower the top hand down. Step forward and come back into the bent knee forward bend. Now in this position, you can take hold of your elbow tips and really help release tension in the shoulder girdle. Good. Hands come to the hips. Slowly rise up with an open heart all the way to standing into mountain pose. Relax the arms, relax the feet. Okay, let's find our strap that we're using this morning, whichever type of strap you have found in your house or have brought here. And we're going to do all of our favorite shoulder opening exercise. Everyone's getting really excited, I can see. Shoulder flossing, yay! I don't think we've done this for a while. It's time. So take a comfortable stance. And you're going to take a wide grasp on your strap. And the arms are going to float overhead. So right here, relax your shoulders away from your ears. Feel the neck, back of your neck long. Keep your elbows straight as you slowly lower the strap behind you. Breathe. Inhale your arms back up. Exhaling, lowering the arms forward. So take a wider grasp on your strap if your elbows will not stay straight. Just go wider and go slower. The slower the better. It doesn't mean it will feel better, but it will break up the congested tissue in your chest, armpit chest. It will break up some lymph, stuck lymph in the body. So we all have this lymph system. You know what it does? It moves toxins out of the body. But guess what? We actually have to help it do that because it won't do it on its own. So we have to move our bodies through our yoga practice. And then when we do our tapping and we massage points in our body, we help to move the lymph out of those stuck places so toxins don't hang out and we stay free of disease. Let your gaze be forward. Don't drop your shoulders or chest. 2 more rounds. Inhaling up and back. Nice job, everybody. You're doing great. 1 more time. You can put a smile on your face for this one. It's the last one. Good, and then relax. Roll the shoulders a little bit. Set your strap to your side. We're going to bring our arms up overhead and take a hold of our elbow tips. And we're going to ground our feet into the earth. Draw earth energy up our legs to our core, so our low belly tones. And then draw the energy up through our heart. Let our arm bones draw back. Then we're going to inhale again deeply. And we're going to side bend to our right. And our hips are going to move to our left. We're taking into this deeper opening in our side body, into our shoulder, anchoring through the left foot. Good. Inhale to rise up. Exhale to lower the arm down. To lower to the left side. Hips move to the right. Good. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, let your arms float like wings down. Grab your strap again. And now we're going to bring the strap into the right hand, and we're going to bend the right elbow up and back and bring the strap behind us. And we're going to first take our left hand on our elbow tip, and we're going to gently move our right shoulder in circles to the level that feels good for us, helping to bring the arm bone back into the back plane of our bodies where it was when we were born. Likely. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but maybe there's exceptions. There's always exceptions, I guess. We'll switch directions. And then we'll let our elbow reach up toward the heavens, and we'll guide our elbow back with our left hand. Then our left hand is going to release down to our side. We're going to internally rotate the shoulder, and we're going to take a hold of our strap behind our back. We'll walk our left hand up as far as is comfortable for our left shoulder and wrist. We'll walk our top hand down as far as it's comfortable, and then we'll pull the strap taut, and we'll use this leverage to lift the upper lungs, the upper chest a little more as we ground through our feet and draw our tailbone under, lifting our heart upward any amount more. This can be all very subtle. They don't have to be big movements, but you feel the openness from the inside out when there's a shift. Trust it, go with it. One more cycle of your breath. Release the bottom hand with ease. Externally rotate your arm out to your side, palm up. Reach up. And then straighten your right arm. Reach both arms up. And then slowly relax your wings down to your sides. Give a little shake, a release. Good morning, shoulders. Okay, second side. Your left hand is going to, with the end of your strap, reach up, bend your elbow. Right hand comes up on the elbow. Here's those elbow shoulder circles in one direction. They could be little circles. Be really kind. I know some of you have had some shoulder things in your life, so just go to your edge, but not beyond. Now reverse direction. And then reach the elbow up toward the sky, gently guide it back any amount more. Your right arm comes down to your side. You'll internally rotate from the shoulder, grab a hold of the strap behind you, walk the hands toward each other, pull the strap taut and feel the lift of your upper chest. Now what tends to happen is we flare out the low ribs. So use your core that you've been activating all morning to draw the low ribs back down and in toward your hip bones. Tailbone draws under. Lift through the heart. Breathe. Soften in the form. You don't need to take it into the deep, intense areas. Be compassionate with yourself. Honor your limitations. What did they teach you? Then release the right arm out. Externally rotate. Bring the arm up overhead. Stretch the left arm up. Breathe in deeply. Exhale, float your wings down to your sides. Whew, let's do a little shake. All right, let's put our strap down to our side. So you're going to get your bolster or your makeshift bolster. You can also lay on your 2 blocks if you don't have a bolster. If you have one, use your bolster. But you could also lay on your blocks. I don't find them as comfortable, but you know, we work with what we have. Or your 2 folded blankets that resemble your bolster. Then, if you have an extra block you're not using, put it out a couple inches from the top of your bolster. And then take a peek and notice I'm laying over my bolster, and my the low ribs are on the bolster, but the chest is off the top of the bolster. And then your head can be resting on a block or a pillow. Your legs are reaching out long, straight out of your hips, and your toenails are connected to the earth. So we're going to work in some belly down back bends here. And we're going to begin in Sphinx pose. So with Sphinx pose, you're going to bring your elbows directly under your shoulders and your hands are spread wide on the floor. Forearms are parallel to each other. Your pelvis is going to press firmly into your bolster, down to your legs and down to your toes. You feel a tone. Now, so lift your chest and bring your weight into your forearms. Beautiful. So claw your mat toward you and bring your heart forward. Shoulder blades move in and down your back to lengthen your spine from your core out the top of your head. 5 breaths here. Anchored through your toes. On your exhale, reach your heart forward and then lower your head down. Relax. As you relax, now you're going to rock your hips side to side so that you don't fall off your bolster. This is a way to release tension in the low back. And then come to a pause. And we'll transition now to Cobra pose. So Cobra pose, we'll walk our hands back under our shoulders. Elbows are straight back. Head resting. Shoulders move away from the mat and we feel our upper back tone. Toes press into the earth. We draw tone from the earth, up the legs to our core, our low belly lifts. As you inhale, press your pelvis into the bolster. Lengthen your spine out of your hips. Shoulders move in and down the back. There is no weight in your hands right now. It is all in your legs and pelvis. With the support of the bolster, you can rise up perhaps a little bit higher in this form, but just staying again within your edge. 3 more breaths. As you exhale, reach your heart forward to relax your head, relax your body. Rest your hands on your block so the hands are stacked and the forehead is resting, and then rock your hips side to side. And relax in stillness. For our last pose, we're going to work in locust pose. So I'm going to give you options. The first level 1 option would be your arms are behind you and your hands stay on the earth and your toes stay on the earth, but your legs are active, they're toned. So it's much like Cobra, but now our arms are back further behind. So that would be a level 1. A level 2 position is the arms come up off the mat, turn in toward the body, and then the legs float up, extending through the crown of the head. Toes and hands reach back. The third level would be arms reach straight out in front like Superwoman or Superman, flying over Teton Valley. Back body is toned, low belly lifted. So you decide where you're going to be. 3 more breaths. Breathe into the back. Feel like you're floating away from the earth. When you're ready to come down, bring the hands, the feet, reach the heart forward. Let the head rest on your hands and then rock your hips side to side. Come to stillness. Bring your hands onto the floor. Slowly press yourself up to your knees. Reach your hips back. Slide your bolster in between your knees and come into a supported child's pose. So the chest is resting on your props. The hips are reaching back and down. If you need to slide a blanket in between your knees, you can. Let's just be here for a minute or so to just really let the body release the chest. The muscle effort, we'll just let that go. Let the tissues relax for a few breaths. Your head is turned to either side, resting on the ridges of your ear. Returning to full fluid breaths. In through the nose and out through the nose. Yogic breath. And we'll slowly make our way back up and onto our backs. Bringing our knees into our chest, heading towards Shavasana. So if you want to have any props you like for final relaxation pose, you can gather them here, or any layers you want for your body. And when you arrive here, you can take knees to chest. You could also come into happy baby pose when the knees go towards the armpits and the feet lift up, knees bent deeply, hands on shins or feet. Wherever you feel most like your body wants to go into that pose. And then let's bring our knees into the chest if they weren't before, and just wrap our right hand around our right knee. Our left leg is going to stretch onto the mat. Our right arm is coming onto the floor, and we'll come into a twist here. So the right knee is moving towards the floor, crossing the body. Right shoulder blade anchored on the earth. Head can turn toward the right hand. 3 breaths here. Release on your inhale. Straighten your leg out. Draw the left knee into the chest. Second side, left arm out to the side. The knee crosses the center of the body to the right. Left shoulder blade anchors your chest on the earth. Head can turn if it feels good in your neck to the left. 3 deep breaths. Releasing when you're ready and coming into Shavasana for a few minutes. If you want to palm your hands together again, and we rub them together and we put our hands over our eyes, this is a really calming technique that you can use whenever you just need to calm your mind. Come back to your center. You can leave your hands here as long as you'd like, releasing them at any time. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Myotaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Allow your breaths to deepen. Lovingly reawakening your body slowly at first. Eventually rolling onto your side into fetal pose, where you'll pause for a breath or two to reorient yourself. Making your way back into a comfortable seated position. Gathering the gratitude from your practice up into your hands at heart center. Returning again and again, moment by moment, to self-compassion, being gentle with ourselves, not being hard on ourselves, forgiving ourselves, just letting things go. Moment by moment brings us into the ability to reconcile the world. Let's close with the sound of Om one time together. I'll take us all off mute so we can hear each other. Let's take a deep breath in together. Namaste.
Namaste.